Hello, welcome to the Sausage Kerb. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Good. Good.
I'm Dabby Nosy.
I didn't realise you speak to me then, Rich. Like, who's he talking to?
Sorry. Creesy is currently en route to Knockhill, and unfortunately there was a lorry fire on the motorway, and it's delayed him. He might be joining us during this little pod chat. But I'll keep an eye on it, but we'll talk about all matters British touring car until then. If he can join us, or you guys, if you keep an eye out on your phones as well, if he drops us another message just to let us know what the score is. But we'll start off with, actually, there was a big piece of news, or I think it's a big piece of news for British touring car today, with it's been around all kinds of touring cars, hasn't it? Rob Huff joining Team Hard, ex-World Touring Car Championship, actually. Rob Huff joining Team Hard. Is it for the rest of the season that he's doing it? I haven't read the article fully, but I know he's joining.
I don't think it's 100% clear, but I think it probably is. It probably is for the rest of the season.
I'm just looking at the quote now. Tony Gillam of Team Hard has said, "We're absolutely thrilled to have Rob join our team for this weekend's BTCC round. His experience and achievements in the World Touring Car speak volumes about his skills. I've been trying to get Rob into one of our cars, and I'm delighted the moment has finally come." So initially, maybe the way that quote reads, race, one weekend.
Yeah, I'd
Croft,
agree.
Did he miss Croft?
Hamilton, you're talking about.
Hamilton Croft, didn't he? Yeah. So I don't know if there's been. I don't know. He might have something wrong. I don't know.
To explain what happened, what we know about Croft was basically all 6 cars were there and all 6 drivers were there for Team Hard on the Friday, and that for the free practice and all the rest of it. And then I believe, I'm not sure Nick Hamilton's car ever went out on the track.
So Nick Hamilton was actually there?
He was there. There's a picture of him and Dan Lloyd walking up the kind of paddock with each other. And the car was there, etc. By the time we got there on the Saturday, the car was covered up. It was in the garage at the back, but it was covered up. And we never saw Nick the whole weekend. And when we asked, people didn't really know. People didn't really know the answer. Whether something happened with the car, or whether something financial had happened, or whether it was Nick's health.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I hope it's not his health, because I think can't he break bones and things really easily and stuff? I'm sure.
I think he often pops a rib.
Yeah, so hopefully it's not that kind of thing that's happened, and he's injured himself or something.
You might have seen a break, maybe. It's quite intense on him, isn't it? It's very intense on his body.
I kind of would have expected. There's been loads of rumours as usual. Everyone loves the rumour, but I kind of would have expected him to say something if he'd injured himself, you would expect some sort of statement, maybe. Yeah,
take a break or whatever.
I'd be surprised if it was budgetary though, as well. Personally,
I'm not so sure. I mean, he does I've said this all along, but I don't think a lot of people believe it. That I think his budget is all sorted out all by himself.
Oh, Creesy's here.
Whether the goalpost changed or whatever, I'm not sure. But
there he is in the camper van.
On his phone.
We can't see him.
We can't see him.
How's it going?
Kept us in suspense.
All right.
Good.
How are you?
The camera on.
The camera's not on yet.
Camera's not.
Pardon.
Wait, can you see me now?
We can't see you now.
Yeah.
Right, hold on.
This is.
There we go.
Oh my!
Camera, everybody.
He's not driving.
Direct.
If anyone jumps on the bandwagon, no, I can't hear him. Wait. If anyone jumps on the bandwagon saying I'm driving, there's my hands. I'm not holding anything. What's going on here?
Oh my God. Well, I can't knock his commitment. At least he's having a go driving down the motorway, like you can see. Oh, there we go.
This is what I'm saying. This is this is pure commitment, and also we got stuck in traffic. Is why this is happening. Just for everyone who's tuned in to understand why I'm not on it.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful where you are, Creesy.
I was going to say, it looks bloody lovely where you are.
I think you're driving the wrong way.
You can talk to my wife if you want, and she can do the shit quiz.
I'm sure she'd love it.
She'll do better than Rich still.
You are.
She'll do better than Rich still.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Me catching strays, I didn't even say anything.
Just collateral.
Right, well, obviously I'm gutted that I'm not on tonight, so but have a good time anyway about me, and don't slag me off too much on the podcast, will you?
We'll catch up after Knockhill and do your best, dude. We'll be watching.
You are?
We're up. Me and John and I are up this weekend, so we'll see you. We'll come see you.
Yeah, we'll pop by.
Yeah, you come in? Yeah. Give me a shout when you get there, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, guys. All right. Jodie's going to give you a pan round of what's actually going down in the camper.
I'm probably students. I don't know if half of this is legal.
It doesn't matter.
We've got like children laying
Oh, yeah. That's comfortable.
social services are coming round in a minute.
Looks ideal, to be honest.
But we've got an amazing summer.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it does look good.
This evening, then.
We're about 3.5 hours away from Dodworth, and then we're sleeping there, hoping that we've still got the wheels on in the morning. So don't know where we're sleeping.
Yeah.
And then my cousin gets dropped off with her little baby, and then we're all travelling to Knockhill tomorrow.
Perfect.
So good.
Well, that would be brilliant. That would be absolutely brilliant.
And we've got all Michael's merchandise is back up and running, his merchandise store. So if anyone wants to go to michaelcreesy.racing.co.uk, they actually get an email, and in the email they get 20% off their first purchase.
And does that go live on Friday? Or does that go live on Friday, or does that go live?
That's right,
from now?
Yeah. So we're doing like a countdown now, and then it will go live on Friday. Oh my God! And someone's just stopped in the middle of the road. Oh my God! Sorry.
Well, I'm glad you were holding the phone.
Oh my God! So hard for me not to swear then.
Oh, he swears.
The hazard lights on in the middle lane of the motorway.
Oh God, that's.
Oh God, they're still bipping. Everyone's bipping.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Someone's just literally stuck his hazard lights on in the middle of these two lanes, and
oh my God.
It's a good job you got a touring car driver driving, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect.
So it's always a nice video when you video us in there. Not planned at all.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so the merchandise is going to be available. People can collect it from Knockhill as well. Caps, bits, jumpers, there's loads of bits on there. So, yeah, if you sign up, you get 20% off.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
I'm sure people will be flocking to get it. I'll be getting some.
Hope so.
Right.
Oh, and apparently you need umbrellas up here as well. We've got some of them.
Creasy umbrellas.
Creasy umbrellas.
But anyway, we'll see you later.
Right, see you later.
Cheers.
Bye. Cheers. Thank you. Bye. And there we go. We got visited by
live and exclusive, folks. Live
chaos.
Almost carnage.
That doesn't happen anywhere else, does it?
It doesn't.
Does it?
I could probably categorically say that there's no other podcast on the planet which does that.
No. Do you want the behind the scenes with a real racing driver? You just add it, like
En route to the track with a family in the juggernaut.
Almost had a multi-car pilot.
Almost witnessed something absolutely awful.
My opinion is, if it made Creasy react that way, it probably was really bad. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, as he said, merch this weekend. I'm excited for that.
It's quite important, I think, because I think people have been going on about for ages to him because they like his cap and they like the 777 and all the rest of it. And I think
he promotes it really well, but doesn't sell it.
He's had a couple of caps that he's gave out, and to be honest with you, with the following that he's had recently, I think it's worth him getting a bit of a merch out. I mean, it could be the difference in budget and everything. Yeah. So it's Friday. Apparently, I think it's a Shopify kind of shop, and I think you put your email address in, and then you get a link for when it goes live on the Friday. I think that's how it works.
Fantastic.
You getting some? We're getting some.
Oh yeah.
I think I might have a little look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick it up on Saturday, and then if we do get drenched, we'll just change into our Creesy gear.
Well, we can't really. For those of you who don't know, we're VIP this week, and that was boys.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I'm not. However,
I don't think we can be pitching up in Power Max Racing tent wearing Creasy gear. Maybe we can.
Rich is on the next one. Yeah. Definitely, we'll get. Yeah. Because, I'm going all out to win VIP tickets for everything. Oh yeah, cool.
So. Wait. We were on about Nick Hamilton. We're on about Nick Hamilton until someone just interrupted us. You know, I don't know. So I suppose there are a few things, aren't there? It could be budgetary, it could be health, it could be a falling out in the team itself. It could be a few things. And as far as I know, I saw Hoppers as well saying it's up in the air as well. Like, you know. I don't think anyone. Well, you know, people like Creasy might know, but not say anything because they're literally, you know, in it. But
I think it's kind of. I don't know, when there's sponsors and lots of money involved, people kind of don't want to say anything until stuff's being said, because then you're just showing sponsors that you're maybe you're going to release news before they know about it and all the rest.
I do want to say that isn't me saying Creasy does know. I'm just saying people involved. Know, you know.
I mean, I'm sure they do. All the drivers generally know everything that goes on, but like Hopper said, we discussed it, but it's up in the air. Don't know. They've got Rob Huff in, and he's a terrific driver, and he will be good. I think he'll be good for the rest of the team. I mean, having him around is
going to be a serious benchmark for the rest of the team ad drivers, isn't he?
I think so,
because he's a very, very good driver. He's got a serious CV, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the last time he drove in a touring car, really, but
I think he was
always a bit of a front wheel drive touring car.
I think it said on the article it was 2020 and he got a race win.
Yeah.
So
and I'm reading here that he did take part in the World Touring Car Trophy as well of some sort. So, and that was 2022.
That's got potential, isn't it? I think it's got. It's not unachievable that he could get a reverse grid and be up there.
I mean, I think Creasy probably showed that the car's got potential, didn't he? He was unlucky, I think, in the first two races at Croft because his luck's terrible when it seems to be placed against like back markers or whatever, you know. But he managed to get points. And points in his first weekend back in a touring car.
Yeah.
So which is fantastic. I mean, he couldn't have asked for much more, I don't think, from that weekend.
And Dan Lloyd's had good point scoring finishes this season, and so had Bobby Thompson before.
Yeah.
And Dexter Patterson's done okay in the Jack Sears, I believe, as well. So I think the car has got potential. Like, I mean, I seems to think it's got potential getting him on a podium at some point. You know, if everything falls in the right place and the car's feeling good and stuff, I don't see why it can't at all.
The right tyre choice with a reverse grid maybe and things like that.
Yeah.
I was just going to quickly, because obviously Creasy is on the podcast and that, I was just going to quickly recap that race 1 in Croft, he was 21st, but that was literally his first race back with the car. Second one, he was 19th, and then race 3, he finished 11th. You know, and if you watched that, he was super racy in that as well. Like he really, that was a battling with Gamble.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure race 1, he had got himself up to 17th or 18th.
Yeah.
16th, 17th, 18th, around that point. He'd managed to kind of just keep on eking up as people were dropping away and stuff like that. And then something happened on the way out. I don't know what it's called. You come out of Hawthorns at Croft, and then you kind of go through a little chicane and off up the back, you go up towards the field.
Yeah.
And you just saw a bloody quick fit sign or something like that go flying up in there, and then Creesy comes around next lap and he has that, it's half covering his radiator. So I think he had a bit of a coming together. It was either with Patterson or George Gamble or someone up that back part of the circuit.
I'm not sure that was shown on TV.
Nah, I don't think it was. We just caught like the sign fly up, then the next thing Creesy dropped back a few places.
With the greatest will in the world, TV does tend to show maybe the top 10, doesn't it? Or the battle behind first or whatever. So the first couple of races didn't really see it, but actually Creesy was on TV a lot of the third race.
He got quite a lot. He got good coverage over the weekend as well. I think it was quite like we said pre-Croft. I think the ITV and things is quite a big positive, him coming back to the championship.
The boy gets coverage anywhere he goes. He was racing at Monaco in Porsches, and they were talking about him. Like, no matter what formula.
It's true, actually. When
he was at Wimbledon, and he got interviewed, didn't he?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How do you think he'll go this weekend then? Different track, different questions asked, I guess.
I feel like Knockhill, it's fairly unique, isn't it? In how you'd think you'd set up a car, probably, because there's a lot of elevation changes, and actually there's every kind of corner you can get there as well. There's slow speed, a medium and high speed corner. There's everything, and it's kind of like Cadwell Park, really, like with all the elevations and different corners and stuff. So I think it would have been a bit challenging as the first race back, honestly, for anyone, not just Creesy, just because, you've got your more traditional circuits, haven't you, with your Silverstones and your Snettertons and things like that. But Knockhill is a bit of its own beast, really, isn't it?
It's aggressive. I think for front-wheel drive cars, it's a very aggressive track, like especially the first portion of it, your Duffus dip.
Yeah.
And then you've got a 90-degree turn almost at the bottom of there to right, and then you've got that flowing part across the chicane, and then into Clark's, which you said that's quite a sweeping corner. Then you're all the way up to your hairpin, and then you're starting again through the madness. You've not got much time to think.
Do they consider it a front or rear wheel track? Do you know?
Historically, very much so a rear wheel drive track, but.
Do you think that's because of maybe traction out of the hairpin and things, and just
so,
general balance?
I think generally, I think it's traction out the hairpin, and that's an uphill straight. Uphill. It's a lot more uphill than it looks on any, sim or anything. It is quite a steep. If you walk up that straight, it's quite a steep old straight. And I think the drive that the rear wheel drive cars get out the hairpin traditionally has made them favourites there. But Croft is traditionally a rear wheel drive track, and the BMWs started qualifying. In the BTCC anyway, the BMWs started qualifying really healthy. They looked like they were going to be, shut out maybe the top part of the grid, and then suddenly the front wheel drive cars, the Focuses, and then the Honda just completely came in and pushed them out the way. So that could be really interesting. I think we were speaking. Sorry, I'm going in a bit too far, but we were speaking to a guy about tyres there at Croft, and he seemed to think that the rear-wheel drive cars, BMs, are struggling getting the tyres to temperature this season, especially the harder tyre. So I think, I don't know, it probably depends on the weather conditions.
You saying that, Colin Turkington, I don't know if you've watched the interviews and that, he was saying, like, he had not just a little grip, he had zero grip. And was it race 3 at Croft, Turkington won? And was there a safety car? There was some kind of interruption, and he said he was glad of it because it gave him more time to.
I think so. Was it Sutton? I feel like Sutton had an incident, didn't he? At the start of it.
Sutton had an incident.
Oh yeah, he parked up, didn't he? He parked up just at the entrance to the pit lane. That's it. Yeah.
I think Morgan might have skipped the chicane somehow. He got in a bit of bother, and Sutton at full speed caught him as he was joining the track, and I think that was the end of his race.
That's it. But that backs up what you're saying there, what the tyre peep said, because Turkington said he had nothing and no defence basically before that stoppage, and he needed that extra time. So
with varied weather, and I mean, it's not supposed to be cold at the weekend particularly, but there's going to be showers. There's going to be wet track at times, so it just depends on timing. And Knockhill can be its own little microclimate, and I know everybody says that about racetracks in general because they're generally in big open areas or whatever, like an airport, I suppose. But Knockhill is its own complete climate. Like the sun could be absolutely shining on Edinburgh. You'll see it from Knockhill, and you could be getting absolutely drenched or hailstoned or whatever, and then the sun will come out 10 minutes later. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see the front wheel against rear wheel and whether everybody keeps on talking about these focuses. The Ford Focuses.
Well, I was going to mention them because race 1 and 2, the Napa Focuses, just they genuinely looked in a class of their own, and at this stage of the season, at least, they seem on the same page that there's give and take. Like I think it was Rowbottom saying, if Sutton or Camish are in a better position, he knows at some point later in the season he's going to be in that position ahead. And there's going to be give and take between them. And I thought, look, that's 3 really good drivers, really good drivers. And if they're all at least at this stage, on the same page, like later in the season, it all goes out the window, doesn't it? If it comes down to championships and that, they're going to be all over it. But at this stage of the season or whatever, I thought that's scary, really, for the other teams, isn't it? That they might actually have a little bit of a gentleman's agreement that at the minute, let's just get the team up there.
Let's get the points,
Yeah, I mean, Martin C said there in the chat as well that all 4 Focuses. Yeah, true. Foci, if that's the plural for focus. We're in the top 10, and that says a lot about Sam Osborne as well. I mean, he's getting to grips with. People don't realise, like, Sam Osborne's had to come a long way after jumping in a touring car and learning how they work and how they go together and how you race them, kind of from the back of the grid. And he's shown that in a decent car, actually, he's finishing in the top 10 as well. So I think he's not getting any credit. But a lot of people seem to miss the fact that Napa had put their team together before anyone else. They'd started the engineering on brand new chassis and cars before anyone else, and started pre-season testing and had the driver lineup and everything in place before anyone else by months. And they've got 2 of the known best engineers.
That's something I brought up with Creesy last time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I mean, I get where he's coming from in so much as long as he's driving, but it's the same in any sport, isn't it? If you're prepared and set with what you know you're doing, you can actually get prepared for the upcoming season, and they just really look like they have very, very nicely, don't they?
Yeah. And they look good. They do look good. But people are saying it's boring and the ballast works better than hybrid, and that's a different conversation completely. And I agree with them, actually. The hybrid doesn't punish anybody anywhere near as much as ballast did. But that's not Napa's fault. Napa came in with a lot of money, a lot of sponsorship. I'm pretty sure they're actually paid drives, Ash Sutton and Dan Camish. I don't think they've had to take sponsorship to Napa. I think they're paid drives. I think they're one of the few on the grid that are paid drives. Rowbottom obviously took Cataclean, so that was maybe his bat, and I'm not sure exactly how it all works, but they were serious. They went into the truck racing, the mini racing at every level, the Porsches and the touring cars. They've thrown a lot of money at it. It's not like they've just turned up and they're just doing well out of chance, or somebody's given them extra boost or anything like this. I seriously believe that they've set up the car brilliantly with good drivers.
The ballast conversation is interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of people used to say, well, BMW took the ballast better than the regular drive cars. But you're right, it doesn't. This boost option that you have now of people having different levels of boost throughout the grid, you just don't see. As a fan, you don't.
No,
you don't appreciate the difference. You can't physically see that, I don't think. And 2, is it fair? Like, are you getting much of a disadvantage by not having that?
The only thing I think that is a or should be a benefit of the whole hybrid type situation, is that it would make sense to me that it's infinitely tunable. Like they should almost from race to race be able to sort out the balance of performance on that.
I think they do. I think the guy with Cosworth or whatever goes around, plugs his computer in, and I think they do kind of. But
you know what I mean, though. Like where ballast, it was made literally more clunky. 5 kilos here, 5 kilos there in a spot. You'd think with hybrid power, they can literally go, okay, well the BMWs do factually do better. Let's take, I don't know, 2% of the hybrid power off them, or whatever, you know, as a balance of performance. Like now we're seeing the Focuses seem to do really, really well. Like GT3 does it a lot. Maybe like with restrictor plates and stuff, maybe they take a few % off, or something.
I just don't think I don't think the hybrid. There's been times where Ash Sutton's had no hybrid, and he's had the weight of the hybrid system in his car, and he's still pissed on everyone, I suppose. But I think what the problem is everybody's got that weight of the hybrid in the car, regardless of how much hybrid you've got. So all your tyres are going to do relatively the same, depending on setup and blah blah blah. Whereas if you've got an extra 60 kilos in your car, the physics of the car actually changes, doesn't it? Like your tyres and I suppose how the car probably handles it that level.
Yeah, because I guess the hybrid
like scrubbing and all of this.
Is the hybrid system then just a turnkey solution that's the same for everyone?
Yeah, I think it's just a standard battery plug-in.
So
that's how much power it delivers to your engine.
So it's like you said, Harry, with certain cars taking the ballast better. Maybe just with centres of gravity and stuff like that, certain wheelbases and things like that, take the battery placement a bit better.
Maybe. Well, I mean, we spoke to a few people last year around the touring car scene, and they were under the impression, rightly or wrongly, that they were fiddling it slightly to change it, you know, in the direction of a certain driver to win the championship. And obviously, we can't say whether that happened or didn't happen. But because you don't have that physical 10 kilos that you can see in the car, we have no idea what we're doing, do we? Like you say, you take a couple of % off the Focuses. But is that right? Like, how do we know that's happening? And how do we know they've not got more at the minute? To make it more of a spectacle. Like, you know, in F1, if this is a possibility, it happened. Because they want it to be a spectacle more than...
I feel like it's difficult... like with you saying, you know, things being skewed and that towards a certain driver. Like I've seen lots of comments like that, but I think it's really hard to be objective about that. I don't believe that stuff goes on, but you'll get fans of one driver saying, "Well, Turkington gets everything, doesn't he?" or whatever, and then someone else will go, "No, Sutton. Have you seen Sutton's obviously getting everything, isn't he? You know, he's got a better hybrid." And you see lots of that.
This was coming from drivers and engineers around the paddock as well. I know, and whether they're just frustrated and they're like, how is he winning everything when he's got all that ballast or whatever, or not enough hybrid in that? How is he just? But again, I don't know. It could have been that hybrid. They nailed a setup, and hybrid just.
What I will say
doesn't have the oomph. It doesn't seem to have that noticeable difference.
As Martin says, actually in the chat there, we do know. Like factually as well, lots of teams genuinely had lots of issues. And actually, when it said they had hybrid, while the stuff was in the car, they didn't have hybrid working. You know, we know that for a fact. So, you know, maybe certain teams hit the bigger budgets. Maybe just had it working. They had the testing, they had the engineers about, and just got it working. You know, right? But I don't think there's any nefarious bias going around, though. You know, like
I'm not saying there is, but that's, you know, it sparks that debate, doesn't it? It was never there. It was never like, oh, we'd have taken 2.5 kilos off him, because you'd see it. Do you know what I mean? It's a tangible thing that you can physically see. So
we do know that they knocked back the BMWs a bit anyway. That was happening anyway on their boost, and it was to do with, I'm pretty sure it was to do with the launch, basically. Well, no, you can't really deal with the launch, but it was to do with the boost after launch that you could just see they were just taking off past people on the starts. So I do know they got knocked back maybe a few times, actually, like to just make it a bit more equal. But then I think in their performance on the track, it's pushed them back, because Turkington's not lost anything about his skill set, fitness, or driving ability in a touring car, and he's went backwards in a really top team. And Dick Bennett's he's been a touring car team manager, owner for probably most of my life. I think he was in F1 before that, and he's no slouch. And so I don't know. I think balance of performance has been a big thing since I've watched touring cars. I remember they used to have the kilos written on the side of the window in a luminous writing.
Yeah.
And I just thought, as a fan, you can see, people going past and like different kilos on them. Hybrid needs to do something, I think, probably quite dramatic, actually, to make it look like it's going to work properly. Or they need to announce that they're going to do something, because people are saying it's boring. It's never boring. There's always good action going on. And, if someone takes off and they've got the pace and they go and win the race, then fair enough. But it's probably only boring in comparison to maybe other seasons.
It's a difficult thing. Go on.
Sorry, I think the best thing to do is, I know at the minute they have the flashing light when they're using the electrical boost. But for me, to actually see physically that he's reeling him in because he hasn't got the boost, or you can see physically he's faster out of corners because he's got it. That is more, for me, is what I want to see. Do you know what I mean? I don't care about I don't want to see the flashing light, because I know it makes no difference.
I couldn't. Last I went to see touring car, I couldn't even see the flashing light, if I'm honest.
That's exactly it. It's a gimmicky thing. So I just want to see, I don't know, it be closer.
It's difficult because you've got two ways to approach motorsport, haven't you? You have it pure, where all the teams are given a set of rules and you work to those rules. And what if BMW turn up and they're a second lap faster? GG's, you've smashed it. Or I think you're fairly aggressive on the balance of performance, and if they think there's an issue there, then hit it. And actually, I think British touring car have got a pretty good reputation of meddling. If they think it's for the show, isn't it? I used to watch it when I was a kid, Super Tourers, and actually it's the last 3 or 4 years, John, has got me back into it. And I think it's great generally, because I watch it. I don't really have any biases apart from Creesy towards any driver, and you can see that they really do try and actually make it a spectator sport. They try and mess with it, don't they? To try and, rather than bias anywhere.
I've kind of always said that generally consistency and speed wins it. If you're consistent enough and quick enough at British touring cars, regardless of what the balance of performance is, you'll become a champion. And that sounds obvious, but it's funny because you look at people like Jason Plato, who was in it for my whole life, bloody hell, almost. Hundreds of race wins and all the rest, nearly 100 race wins and all the rest of it. But he only had 2 championships out of all them seasons of competition and competing at the British touring cars. I think he only missed 2 or something in probably like 15, 20 years or something like that. He only 2 championships. I say only 2 because, that's brilliant. He's won 2 championships. But you've got Ash Sutton. He's got, 4? Is he going for his 4th?
Plato's only won 2 championships.
Yeah, he only won 2 British.
Look, I'll quite honestly be really ignorant. I thought he had more. Just because Plato's been around since I was a fetus. But
yeah, but he had plenty of race wins, and he was I suppose he was a bit maybe like Alonso. You could probably look at God knows how many championships and said, well, he could have won that, or should have won that, or he could have won that and should have won that. He maybe could have been a 5-time British touring car champion when you look at it all down the years. But you had colossal battles with Matt Neal and
stuff,
Alain Menu and Ivan Muller and all these guys. And so it's hard to win championships. Maybe nowadays, I don't know. It's when you've got a setup like Napa or WSR and you've got the right drivers there, it looks easier than it is.
Yeah. It's probably the strongest lineup, isn't it? Like in tandem with the equipment.
Yeah.
On the grid, so. Really. And that's not to have a go at any other lineup. It's just
no. They're all strong and they're all fierce competitors.
Yeah, of course. But when you saw what they were building there, it was a bit like, bloody hell, they're not messing about, are they? And sometimes you just have to look at it that way, don't you? Like, well, they've got some of the best engineers, they've got some of the best drivers, they've got some of the best backing.
I really thought Morgan would do better this year in the BMW, actually, if I'm honest with you, because I thought Turkington, Morgan and Hill with Stephen Jelly as well as a 4.
Actually, yeah.
That is strong.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Napa looked really strong. Ash Sutton, Dan Camish, and I mean, Rowbottom, they're all looking brilliant. But like, I thought that'd be a really good ding dong this year, and it's kind of not happening. Ingram's your main guy. Ingram's just clinging on there. He's basically clinging on to Sutton's retirement so far. It's not been on performance, it's been consistency and clinging on Ash Sutton's failings, really.
I think that's a brilliant thing, though. You're just reeling off names. There is a depth of talent, like a proper depth of talent, isn't there, in the touring car?
Yeah, they're all talented, aren't they? But like, there's only, I think, there's a few drivers that you could, like we talked about the Nitro, and you can pick out of the touring cars, but in any of the Formula, they'd be up there.
Yeah, there's a few.
They've got just raw talent, raw driving talent.
Yeah.
Creesy being one of them, obviously.
What was interesting, though, I did watch a podcast the other night with Dan Camish, and he never knew that Ash Sutton was signing for Napa when he signed.
Oh,
really?
Napa had a kind of exclusive chat with Camish and said, "No, we want to offer you the deal. We want you here." And then he joined and went, "Oh, do you know who my teammates are?" And he was like, "Yeah, well, Ash Sutton's one of them."
We might not sign, right? If you knew something.
It's probably. Do you sign for the best team? Yeah, probably. You know, if you look at what they were offering, they were probably still going to be the best team, regardless of who. You know, maybe if Ash Sutton was driving, went somewhere else or whatever. But WSR and Napa are probably two strongest outfits, and then maybe the Hyundais.
Not to lose Ash Sutton, but I would like to see, you know, that we're on about Aussie V8s or Aussie Suit. I'd love to see him do something else, just because I think he'd tear it up. I think he'd shock people. I
like to see Camish in that and stuff like that as well. But like, if you look at Camish's record in other series, and that is unbelievable. Like,
yeah, didn't he win every race in F4s or something? Or what was it, Formula Ford? Every race or something?
Formula Ford, yeah, every single race, yeah. And then I think it was like something like 2000 and there was a year where he entered God knows how many different series, single seater, then some Porsche, and he won every single race. Every single race he entered, he won in every series. And like he was kind of chuckling, but you could tell he was a bit. I think he quite enjoyed it, but he was like, well, yeah, it was a decent year. That
you forget Camish came this close to winning a championship.
Well, he was that close, wasn't he? I mean, I you know me, Honda fanboy for no reason, and I quite like Dan Camish, to be honest. But what was it? Brands Hatch, wasn't it? In brake failure or whatever. It was just like, no way.
He did go into talking about that, that's the first time I've heard him speak about it properly. Right. He says it still upsets him.
I'm not surprised.
It was him who kind of brought up the thing of like, you could be in this championship for 20 years and never win a championship, and he was like literally a lap or two.
Yeah.
I think what you've just said as well about Dan Cam, we're digressing massively here, but it's pretty good. Yeah, Dan Cam and Plato, though, like Plato only winning 2 titles, Dan Cam coming that close, it's unbelievably competitive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know,
look at last year when how many drivers could win it the last day?
And when you compare it to any number of other motorsport championships, like it baffles me how British touring car isn't just gigantic.
Most people are within an hour or two of a track at some point on the calendar.
Yeah.
When you look at what F1 is at the minute as well, and how there's a dominance there. There isn't like you don't get 4 or 5 drivers in the last day of the season going for
the
title. Yeah.
It happened once where 2 drivers could go for it, and it messed everything up. So
yes,
yeah, it's just mad, isn't it? Really, but just great spectacle. But this weekend, then Knockhill. I think it's a bit of a rear-wheel drive circuit. Then, do you think the BMWs are? I mean, I know the one race 3 at Croft, right, with Turkington. Do you think they're gonna maybe hit the ground running? Go for it.
My bet is Jake Hill to win all 3 races. Edit it fast. Right on this podcast here. Right there.
I don't think he'll win all 3, but Jake Hill loves Knockhill. And the last time I watched him there, he was absolutely unbelievable. Like, we watched him and, you could just see the aggression. I think he's an aggressive driver. That's when you see him make these little mistakes. Like he dropped the car twice at Croft. It's spun the car all on his own at Croft twice.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
To me, it's all how much of the edge he's on. You know, that was like dropping a rear-wheel car on a little bit of a slippy white line by maybe an inch or something, which caused him to spin. But
I think it's been great to see Jake Hill's development. Again, I'll consider myself pretty casual. I watch it and I enjoy it a lot for what it is. Yeah. But I follow the sport rather than a driver. And watching Jake Hill, he really has gone from he's all right to actually, if you give him the tools, he's going to be right up there all the time.
But he's not out of it. Yeah, he's not out. Tingram goes well around Knockhill as well. Yeah, I've watched Tingram own that place a couple of weekends in different cars, and you know, there's still I think Ash Sutton's on 258 points going into the weekend, and Jake Hill's in fourth on 217 points, and you've got 25 points each race.
Look at what happened to Sutton race 3 at Croft. You know, one or two of them, Jake Hill up there, and
Knockhill.
Race 1 is different, isn't it? Race 1, if you're out in race 1, that ruins your weekend pretty much.
I just think if you've got, like what you've said about Jake Hill, I think if you've got a rear-wheel drive car alongside front-wheel drive cars on that grid, I think, and even if it's a little bit slippery, I think they'll nail them.
And to be fair, I don't know the name of the corner, but is Duffer's Dip the first right left? And then you've got a tight right-hander at the bottom there.
I think it's McIntyre's, I think.
That whole situation for the start of a touring car race is just a recipe for bothering, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
So anything can happen. Anything can happen. Anything can...
That's all
I was just like, what even is that? But
watching them come through Duffer Step lap 1 is it's something to behold, really. You'll see folk going wide, folk taking the little service exit thing that you can kind of go around and then try and re-enter at McIntyre's, and people don't notice you're coming on there, so you get walloped back out of the way. But it's usually lap 2 that's mental, because you can hear them from the whole straight. You know, they've got that whole run up the straight, you know, so the speed they're travelling at.
Is it Duffer's Dip where, was it Morbidelli in...
Tarquini, maybe?
Tarquini in the Alfa Romeo. Was it there when you get that amazing Murray Walker? Oh!
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Sorry.
I've got a question about Croft. Did they run the alternative tyre compound?
So they had to use each compound once, basically, in 1, 2, or 3, whichever race they wanted. They had to use 3 compounds. So
are they doing that every race?
Soft, hard,
no, they've just chose certain. I mean, I should know because I've done a video on it before. They're just choosing certain events.
I thought it worked at Croft. I knew it was happening, and I think
it worked for Creesy, didn't it?
Yeah, and it made sense to me. I think he took the soft in the last race.
Yeah, soft in the last race, Gamble.
Yeah, and just
had a right soft, hard, and a medium. Is that how it works?
Yes. Well, they call it the medium. They call the prime. So they have a soft, a prime, and a hard compound. That's what the way they talk about it. So whatever level of hardness or softness or whatever they are, it's similar to F1. I think Dunlop or Goodyear choose. Because this is what we were talking to the tyre guy on the Saturday, because an engineer from Toyota came out and he was just telling us about the tyres. So it was quite cool, actually. But he was basically saying BMWs don't like that one. The front wheel drive ones like this one for about 4 laps and then don't like it for, you know. So it was like, it was interesting, and because the weather was changing, it was raining during the day. People were gambling on their tyre choice, which I thought was good, because, you know, people were saying, should we get the softs out of the way, because if it rains, we'll be on wets. You don't need to. Your choice goes out the window if it rains. I've not
considered that. Yeah.
So that's what made it interesting. So
the first time they did it, it rained, didn't it? Was it Snetterton? Is it?
No. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it could have been Hilton, maybe.
You know what you just said, though? I think we'll do your quiz in a minute, Harry, but I think it's a thing that people should be aware of as well, that I've done it, you've done it, where at a British touring car event, especially if you're there for the weekend and you might be camping at the circuit, at Donington, we're wandering round of the evening after on Saturday and just talking to mechanics and tyre technicians about the different stuff and what they're up to and the cars, the drivers, and they're motorsport fans too. You know, obviously when they're busy, but sometimes they're just sort of mulling about at the back of the garage, and you can say, oh, blah blah blah, and they'll have a good old chat with you. And as motorsport fans, that's brilliant, isn't it? You can just nerd out a little bit. I think it's great.
I've always said for a weekend, definitely, because I think your Sunday ticket might be £35-40, but the weekend ticket might be £50 to get like both days. And I think you get value for money on the Saturday because you get the qualifying and you get a few races to boot. But you also, like you say, it's quiet, so you will get drivers just wandering around, and you will get engineers, and they'll be more than happy just to have a chat with you. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, that kind of made, that's what F1 used to be like. F1 did used to be like that. My friends who are a bit older than me, who went to the Monaco Grand Prix when they were young, like in the 80s, and they were sitting on a wall talking to Martin Brundle and Mark Blundell, and the engineers were sat there beside them having drinks of water, talking about tyres and stuff like that, and they were just sat listening in as fans. Like there was no barriers, nothing.
Yeah.
That you know, it doesn't seem that long ago, does it really, compared to what you get now, where it's just not possible.
It's a shame. It's a shame, isn't it? It is a shame, and I think, I mean, we know some people, but I think our friend Gled is a perfect example of someone who was Formula One mad, checked out some British touring car, and is a bit like, oh,
yeah, perfect choice.
You know,
I mean, yeah, it was a perfect example. So it was like,
yeah,
he was dead set, but he liked he's I suppose he's open. He liked IndyCar, and then he's like loves IndyCar now. He knows more about IndyCar than most people I know now.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we've had a good old chat generally about touring cars, haven't we? It's been pretty good. Shall we do the quiz?
It's a shame Creesy couldn't have made it, but
yeah, I mean,
to get Creasy's input on whether he'd like to go back to normal ballast. Just to go back to that conversation. I'm interested to know what he thinks about that.
And I should imagine
we can ask him a few questions this weekend, and then get him on another. We'll get him on another one and fire lots of questions at him. I'm sure he'll answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should do that.
I've only got to watch what they say, the drivers, when they kind of endorse TOCA and all the rest of it. When you're using a TBL license, I don't know.
As well, it might be difficult to what they can say publicly, as opposed to what they might say in just a casual conversation, maybe. But shall we do the quiz?
Yeah, may as well.
So the quiz, guys. How we do this is, if you listen to the questions that Harry's going to give you and answer them for yourself, don't put them in the chat until the end. And when we've finished the quiz, what is it? 5 questions?
Yeah, and a bonus, obviously.
5 questions and a bonus. And at the end of it, put all your answers into the chat as one after the 5 questions. Then we'll see how people have done.
Forgot where I was there for a second. Well, not where I was, but what I was doing.
Who am I?
Yeah.
We ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
You got your Google open, Rich?
I certainly haven't.
Right, question 1. In Formula One, the Melbourne or the Australian Grand Prix broke a record for the most amount of red flags in a single race.
Oh.
But how many red flags were there?
I'm going with my gut, and that's that. I'm not thinking about it.
I'm going with my gut. I haven't really been watching F1 this season, you know.
No. It's like my brain's kind of...
Is he staying really still? Oh, no. He froze for a moment. I thought you were really like...
Who, me?
No, Harry.
We don't know where Harry's sent.
It's been all right, sir.
Hamsters are running.
The hamsters are off, yeah. Question 2. Which team is currently last in the F1 Constructors' Championship? You get a bonus if you tell me how many points they've got. There's Rich checking out the...
I'm typing on my notepad. I think I've proven I don't use Google, the amount of these I've lost.
Yeah, I'll just tactically use it for a couple and then leave the rest.
Yeah.
Question 3. The FIA grades international sporting racing circuits from 1 to 6. But what grade is Knockhill classified as? The clockwise circuit.
Oh,
all right. I'll just help you out with this. 5 doesn't count for anything. They've excluded 5 for some reason.
But they still have 6.
Yeah, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6.
I know it's got a unique license. It's got a unique license to run the track in clockwise and anti-clockwise.
Yeah, it's pretty rare.
The anti-clockwise. I think the anti-clockwise has got a different license though.
Yeah, I'll have a different grade. Yeah, because of runoff and stuff. Yeah, because you're running downhill at full speed into a hairpin. I've seen brake fails there. Anyway, yeah. I reckon it will be. I'm going to go with that. Yeah.
Okay, question 3. Can you name the driver on pole and the winners of race 1, 2, and 3 of last year's Touring Car Championship at Knockhill?
Oh, God, no.
You get a point for each one, and there's a bonus point if you can tell me Creesy's highest race finishing position.
Oh, what? So who was on pole and then won race 1, 2, and 3?
3. And then Creesy's highest race position. Yeah. So there's 5 points on offer.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
I mean, it doesn't really need saying. Every answer so far has been completely shotting from the hip, mate.
Oh dear.
Yeah, this ain't going to be good. I do watch motorsport, I promise.
I've just done a complete guess at that. Right, that's
okay.
Done. All right.
The final question.
Oh, I'm not done.
In Formula 1, which clothing brand is rumoured to be the new title sponsor of Alpha Tauri next year? And they will take over as the name as well. They'll be renamed.
I think I've got that. I think I've got that.
All right.
Okay. Answers in the chat for those then, guys, as we go through them. Right.
I don't have a clue about that last
one. Have we got any? Oh. Right then. How many red flags, please, Rich?
I said 3.
I said 4.
Ooh. The answer is 3.
Hey. I wasn't sure, I nearly said 4, but I thought that sounds memorable. 4 red flags. It sounds a bit crazy, but.
Yeah, fucking hell. Hopper's right on that one. Hopper got it right. DGM got it right. That's Dan. I think that's about it. I don't think Martin's playing.
Martin's gone out.
But I've noticed other answers on there.
Question 2, which team is currently last in the F1 Constructors Championship? Bonus how many points, John?
I said Alpha Tauri with 4 points.
Ooh, that's 1 point. Alpha Tauri is correct.
I said Alpha Tauri with 2. I don't know.
Ooh, Alpha Tauri with 3.
You may as well.
Point
so
each.
How many, do you get a point? Yeah.
Point each.
Point and a half.
What grade is Knockhill, please, John?
I just said 2.
Rich?
3?
Oh, it's 3, innit? I knew it was 3.
I can't say what 3 is, but 3, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I thought for some reason they might have pushed it to a 3, but nah.
Go on, Rich, give me it.
2.
Easy, Tiger. No, Paul, I just said Turks. I have no idea. And then 2 wins for Turks, and then Ingram in the 3rd and 14th for Creesy.
So out of a possible 5 points, you got 0.
Sweet. I thought I would. Here we go, John. Look at him. Right, here we go.
Here we go.
I mean, I don't think I've got. I went Sutton on pole, Hill win race 1, Hill win race 2, and George Gamble won race 3, if that was the right year. And I've put 16th as Creasy's best position because I know he had a frustrating day.
Say that again, please.
I said Sutton on pole, Hill first race, Hill second race, and Gamble third race, and Creesy 16th.
I think you've got 3 points there, right? So you got Jake Hill's on pole.
Oh no! I put Sutton on pole, so that's 0.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And
so,
then,
but he won race 1.
Yeah, Sutton won race 2.
Oh, I said Hill race 2.
Gamble won race 3.
Yeah, I got Gamble. Yeah.
And Creesy's highest position was 16th in race 3.
Way! So it was 3 points, yeah.
That's 3 points. Yeah. Rich, new sponsor, please.
Hugo Boss.
Yep. Yeah.
I didn't know it, but I didn't know it.
Ooh.
I was going to write Louis Vuitton or something, but I thought Louis Vuitton Racing.
They're going to be called Boss Racing or something like that. Boss Racing? Oh. Okay. What have we got?
I've got 4.
I've got 4 after that touring car.
We actually we actually need a tiebreaker. We actually need it for once.
Yeah, you know what? That was just a complete feeling on Creasy's, because I remember that weekend he was up in 12th, 13th, everything, but everything kept on going wrong. Everything just kept on going against him. It was just a complete guess.
Unfortunately.
Has anybody got higher than 4 in the chat?
I think so. What did Hoppers had? Ash Sutton race 1, Jake Hill race 2, and George Gamble race 3. And Creasy's highest he put 13th. He put Stake as the.
Dan did well. Dan got 1, 2, 3, 4.
You just put no.
No for the big answer on number 4 there, but he got 4.
Yeah, he did, definitely. Well done. Well done, Dan, mate. Tiebreaker.
So, closest wins as usual.
Yeah, kind of a bit wham.
In megabytes.
Oh,
how much data is recorded during the average F1 lap for a single car?
Rich will fucking nail this. In fact, if he doesn't, he's shit.
How am I gonna know that? I mean,
you know how much.
So, in megabytes, how much data is recorded during the average lap in F1 per car?
Lap.
Yeah. All right.
I know it's quite difficult when you think about it, actually, isn't it? Because
the
high definition.
So 4K, mate. 4K data.
So,
oh, am I meant to be saying it first?
No. I don't know. John, you ready?
No, I'm still converting gigabytes to megabytes.
I mean, it's
1,000 megabytes in a gigabyte.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. It's still a guess, because you can know that and then just be like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I'm not clueless.
I mean, I was just gonna say 2,200.
Oh, that's funny, Rich, because I said 2,350. So this is quite weirdly close.
Are we miles off?
That's 2 gig a lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought HD a lap. Well, actually, maybe I'm overthinking that. A lap's probably going to be like 2 minutes max.
Yeah, but I was just thinking the data they've got about.
My GoPro eats a lot of data.
Well, I wasn't thinking.
It's not recording video, is it?
No, but they've got about 300 sensors on them. So I was.
Yeah, do you want to know the answer?
Go on.
I think you've won, Rich. 13 megabytes.
Fuck off! No way!
30 megabytes, yeah.
Well, I suppose.
I'm thinking of storage.
I was thinking storage, but the reality of it is, it's all text based, which is nothing in storage terms. But Dan did say 75,000.
What was the answer, Harry?
13 megabytes.
13.
13.
Yeah, because actually, if you took our theory, Rich, right, and you took 2,000, what did he say it was? 2,000?
2,200, I said.
2,200, right, Rich said. If you divide that by the amount of seconds in an average lap, so say it's going to be
90.
90, yeah.
Between 90 and 120, isn't it, somewhere? You do end up at 24 megabytes.
Oh, wow, I was bang on. I thought you said per race. You're all right.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
No.
Dan
Does Rich win because he was closest?
Yeah.
By a factor of 0.2%. No, is it? Go on, Dan. Well done, Dan.
For the first time ever, and since Creesy's not on, Rich wins.
Yeah, he's never going to believe it that I've won one, is he? He's not going to believe it.
I just hope he's making it to wherever. He's still got 3 hours to go. They must have been in a right hellish traffic jam.
Yeah. It's not good, is it?
Was there any questions before we bugger off? I think someone asked a question. But...
Hoppers was asking about the Speedworks.
Speedworks with the Corolla. Oh yeah, that's because after us talking about budgets and backed teams and like, so you have Napa. I think that's what he's talking about. Is like, so you've got Napa with the Fords and they look brilliant, and you've got WSR with the BMWs and they look good, quick budget wise and that. But Toyota have been nowhere really this season. Fielding 3 strong cars backed by Toyota, Gazoo Racing. You know, good drivers like Butcher leading them really, and Collard's no slouch. He's a good driver, and so is Gamble.
I thought
race winner last year, and I thought Toyota would be up there punching in about them, and it's just not happened for Toyota. So I don't know if that's a talking point or what, but I just found it interesting that if you're going to have manufactured backed teams, you would expect them to kind of rise to the top, wouldn't you?
Casual point of view, which I think is handy actually, that I don't nerd out on it. I know what I know, but
well, I think that's the beauty of.
I'm the same. I look at it, and I thought like about Creasy at Croft. I thought fair play because he's battling a works Toyota there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he like with the greatest respect, you expect that to be prepared fairly beautifully, don't you? It's a works car.
Yeah.
You know, like the BMWs. I mean, the Napas have got the backing basically.
Sorry, I've missed out Hyundai, which obviously they're backed by backed by Hyundai, but like, they're just all miles. They're all miles ahead of Toyota.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Just a bit of an interesting
Does Ingram drive for Hyundai then?
Yes, he does. Yeah, he's
accelerated. He was in the Toyota though, wasn't he? In the Ginsters, he had the Ginsters.
He was when they had the one car, yeah. And as soon as they kind of went full Gazoo Racing backed by Toyota, and that I think that's when he went his own way, really.
Yeah,
and won the championship.
Back to his box and then won the championship, didn't he?
His Gangsters. I did put a tweet out the other day to say bring back Gangsters because it was a nice little taster you got, and you can go and get a pasty. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Especially when you're feeling a bit wobbly from the night.
Yeah, that was Thruxton.
The events previously.
a bit wobbly. We couldn't walk. We thought we were completely sober the next day, but we just could not walk straight. But that's a different story.
Yeah. Right then, boys. That's an hour. We're gonna. I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after, but we'll definitely be back on when we've caught up with and got Creasy involved. We'll be back for sure. Yeah, and we'll get it sorted, won't we? We'll get it sorted, and we will advertise in due course, guys. Thank you for taking part in the quiz and your questions and your comments and everything like that. It's always much appreciated. Do you guys have any parting words?
No, we'll try and gather as much info and pics and that from the weekend at Knockhill, and we'll post them on our other socials and
yeah, make sure you're on TikTok and everything, guys.
Yeah, TikTok's probably the main one we want to kind of push with these videos and stuff like that. And
just the sausage curb, isn't it?
Yeah, just the sausage curb. Yeah, if you see us at Knockhill, come and give us a shout.
But there we are, guys. We'll be back. Keep an eye on the socials because we'll let you know when. And yeah, take care. See you later, guys. Cheers.
Yeah.